Down the barrel. Jeez. That phrase hasn't been around for a while. It was banned from my vocabulary, wasn't it? Did someone ban that from my vocabulary?
You paint me out.
Okay.
Tell them the story.
I'll tell them the story.
This is so cool. Guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. We're talking about empty nesters, and I'm sitting with my only person. My only person that I spend possibly 24 hours a day with. My only person. My only person. When you're courting someone, assume that one day it'll be just you and that person. You better like who you're taking out on dates right now if you're young. You better fucking see. Can we sit in silence and watch 6 hours of television together?
Can we play Scrabble?
Everything together? Can we do everything together? Everything, not just some things. Everything. Everything.
Are you feeling suffocated?
No, I'm not. There's the comedian part of me wants to make a joke about it.
Yeah.
But it's your podcast, and I know that your people show up.
Well, you can make a joke about it.
But the thing, and it's hard because it's like my take is initially going like I had a joke I'd written on stage. I go, if I'd known I was going to be spending this much time with someone, I would have married a dude. And
I am sort of a dude, though.
You are definitely a dude. But what's crazy is I want to be very honest about what we're going through on this podcast because I think I want to be thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Which I'm not very thoughtful in life.
That's not true at all.
I just talk shit. I just talk shit hoping a joke shows up. And I don't want to do that regarding this because
you're very thoughtful in life. I completely reject that. I think that you...
I take big swings. I talk shit on podcasts. I take big swings, hoping it goes to a fun, wild place.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially if I'm doing it with Tom, like Two Bears is where I talk the most shit. Mm-hmm. Like I'll talk Rogan, I talk wild shit, hoping it goes somewhere, you know? It's what comedy really is. It is the essence of a comedian is to be a little bit of a provocateur of thought.
A disruptor.
A disruptor. And I love that. But when it comes to this, and especially on this podcast, because I know there's people that are looking down the barrel of it.
Down the barrel. Jeez. That phrase hasn't been around for a while. It was banned from my vocabulary, wasn't it? Did someone ban that from my vocabulary?
You paint me out.
I don't.
You paint me to be certain things that... Go ahead, tell them the story.
Okay.
Tell them the story.
I'll tell them the story. I don't remember the exact circumstances. However...
I was on the road. You were home with kids.
No, that's not true. You were about to leave.
Yeah.
And I needed you to do something to help me with something, and you were giving me trouble for it. And I said to you, hey, I'm looking down the barrel of 2 weeks here by myself with these kids. And you...
Don't do dramatic bird voice. Just say it. How did I react?
You might have overreacted.
You can't even not do dramatic bird voice.
I'm doing LeeAnn's voice.
Okay, you do... Sell it.
Okay.
Sell it. I want to hear what did I sound like?
You said, don't you ever say that to me. Don't you ever say to me, you're looking down the barrel. You have no idea what I have to do in those 2 weeks. Do you think I want to travel for these 2 weeks? Do you not think I'm looking down the barrel of 2 weeks? And I was like, oh, buddy.
I just want to point out, because we're going through this, and what's wild about this.
About being empty nester?
No, about what you just talked about is we're, without giving away too much, we're going something where we're reliving a lot of those times in my life.
Yeah.
And I, for the first time, had like a little bit of a flash of what my life was like and the panic I lived in. Of like, and I know there's people that have much harder jobs than I've ever had in my entire fucking life. There are people in the military that are fucking storming a fucking embassy right now, and they're listening to a podcast trying to get ready for it. You know, I think probably they're listening to Wife at the Party. Going
this one.
They're like, it's like, Smith, oh, you're loaded, and he's like, I'm loaded, sir. I'm just finishing up Wife at the Party, and then we'll storm the embassy.
Totally, that was happening all the time.
But I really had aggressive panic attacks almost daily. Every morning, I'd wake up and go into a shower, and I do rituals. It's my OCD. I do my rituals trying to make sure I'd be safe that day. Mm-hmm. And that's not even mentioning, the littlest things of like my blood pressure was always up. It was always up because
you had PTSD.
I know, but when you say that, I think a lot of people hear that and go, you know, how you rode roller coasters and or you jumped off buildings and you skydived. It's not that bad, Bert. People do worse things, but it wasn't who I was. And so when you said I'm looking down the barrel, I remember distinctly thinking I have to go to New Zealand and jump off the world's tallest rope swing. I think back to that moment in New Zealand, one of the most beautiful hotels I've ever been in. Just a gorgeous hotel. I went for a hike that morning to get my mind off of it. And I kind of did. I kind of got my mind off it. And then I got back to take a shower and panic set in. And I sat in the corner of a shower, squatted like a catcher, saying prayers over and over, doing these visualizations of safety in my head. And I was like, I'm losing my mind. I'm actually losing my mind. Like I don't have control over it. And I would physically get ill. I'd start dry heaving. I am so glad I'm out of that life. You have no idea how grateful I am to not be doing that and to be doing a podcast with you. That's why I want to be a tad bit thoughtful about everything. Because I do talk in these like hyperbolic phrases. And when I say and this is one of those, it's wild how much time you spend with your spouse when your kids go to school. It's overwhelming.
Well, not everybody works together. I mean, that's the problem is, it's not that it's a problem. That's the distinction is that if you worked at the bank and I worked
that just gave me panic.
You know, a restaurant, we would spend our days apart, but we don't. We work in this house together all day and then we go home. Together all day, and then we're together on the weekends, all weekend. So there's no separation.
There's none.
Unless one of us has a podcast.
It's interesting to me what we are going through. Like, it's fascinating.
Do you think we're doing better or worse than you expected?
Way better than I ever thought we'd ever do.
Really?
I thought I'd have so much depression not having the girls.
You did.
But it's fun. I'll tell you, our relationship's evolved with the girls. Like, we get texts from Isla. We never got to, when we lived with Isla, we never got a text from her.
No, she was
we never
radio
saw her.
silence.
Yeah.
Always.
And we get texts and they're funny texts.
Yeah.
And she shares videos. And when Isla calls, we'll talk for like 45 minutes, which, I mean, you never got that FaceTime with her when you lived with her. And Georgia, I'm starting to think, I bet my girls go, now I know why mom and dad's relationship was so great when he was on the road. He's a lot when you live with him all the time. But when you have some distance from dad, and just you're getting bite-sized versions of dad, I bet there's a part of them like, this is so doable. Like, dad's coming out for a weekend, I can do dad. It's like my dad. Like, living with my dad is a lot. But seeing him for a couple weeks, a year, you're like, miss that guy. I think I'm just a lot. But what's crazy is, and I'm...
Well, then how do you think I do it? Because I'm not like walking around every day going like, oh my God, with you, right?
I really don't know how you do it.
You don't?
I really actually don't. I feel like you're more my buddy sometimes than like, you're definitely my wife, but sometimes I feel like you're my buddy. Like when you said last night you were going to turn on the bedroom lights in the middle. So we tell everyone what you were going to do. Because
I was so excited. I should not have told you. I should have just done it. Okay, so our bedroom lights, we have bedside lamps, and they're on Alexa. So when we go to bed at night, we go, Alexa, turn off the master bedroom lights. Well, Georgia has a cat. Isla has a cat. The cats are still upstairs in their bedrooms. And every couple nights, I haven't been sleeping well for like 2 or 3 weeks. So last night, I was anticipating not sleeping well because I usually can sleep through when you're snoring, but lately it's been really bothering me and keeping me up. So I was like, I'm not even going to deal with it tonight. I'm just going to go upstairs and sleep in George's room and get myself a really good night's sleep. So as I'm walking out the door, I heard you say, Alexa, turn off master bedroom lights. And when I hit the stairs, I went, I'm going to get upstairs. And I will say, Alexa, turn on master bedroom lights from George's room, and they'll come on. And you'll be like, what the fuck? Alexa, turn on master bedroom lights. And then I was going to wait a minute and do it again. And then I was like, you know what will happen is won't get out of bed. He'll just from the bed go, LeeAnn! LeeAnn, something's wrong with our Alexa, LeeAnn.
Yeah.
And I would have laughed hysterically, but I thought it might have been a little too mean.
No, what's great about that, and that's the thing that I'm talking about our relationship, is I've got
the fact that I throw my socks at you every night. So we're in the recliner watching TV, and at some point I will take one sock off and throw it. And every time you jump, like I've just thrown a rat on you or something. It's the same thing every night. I'm just throwing a sock, and you still go.
But that's the thing I like about our relationship, is there's like, it's like, no even reason to mention about intimacy, because that's, I think that's a very, very vital part of every relationship. Sure. But like, just the fact that like, I really enjoy, like, you make me giggle like that. I really never got that with any of the other chicks I ever dated. I never enjoyed them. Like, I enjoyed, they were nice and stuff. And like, but I don't think I appreciated them as people, or maybe I didn't give them the chance. I'm sure it was on me, but for whatever reason, I've gotten, and it's honestly, it's since the girls have left, I've gotten a different appreciation. It's almost like, I'm trying to think of the perfect analogy. Is like, sunsets are awesome when you're drinking, and then when you stop drinking, you don't recognize the first few sunsets. They kind of go by, and you go, God, I wish I had a fucking drink. But then after you haven't drank for like a couple weeks, you go, God damn it, sunsets are pretty fucking awesome, sober or drunk. Like, they're fucking just awesome. And then you see a wild sunset, and you're like, and you don't think about drinking, and you go, God, man, that's a fucking badass sunset. And I think that's how I feel with you, is like, I appreciated everything about you when we had kids and we were living all together, but I more appreciated your heavy liftingness about you just doing everything. Like, and I was like, wow, this is so doable.
Well, at least that's honest. Yeah, I didn't appreciate the other parts, the heavy lifting, though.
I mean,
that was the best.
You're just a bulldog. You get up in the morning and you fucking feed the dogs, take the dogs out, make sure the trash cans are rolled in, wake up the girls, start making breakfast, get the girls out of bed. You go to fucking work out, you come back, you take the girls to school. Like, you're
a workhorse. You're
a workhorse. You're like a Clydesdale. And I'm more of like a thoroughbred. Where like, I need to run my certain race.
We got to wrap your ankles every day.
I got to wrap my ankles.
You got to wrap your legs.
And if I get hurt, you might as well fucking shoot me in the head, because I'm not going to fucking do shit that day.
It is the truth. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that it's exactly what I wanted feeling. They scour the globe for original handmade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. Here's a few of my favorite gifts that I found on their site. Make your own churros kit. 50 things to do when you are 50. A butterfly feeder, flower arranging workshop, from holiday host and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for your kids, to hits for everyone from book lovers to diehard sports fans, Uncommon Goods has something for everyone. Not the same old selections you could find just anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. I have not missed a Christmas in probably 10 years shopping at Uncommon Goods. I find stocking stuffers. I find gifts for business relationships we have that are just kind of a little off the beaten path. Wedding gifts there. They have so many personalized wedding items. I love Uncommon Goods. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/LeeAnn. That's LeeAnn. That's uncommongoods.com/LeeAnn for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we are all out of the ordinary. Wife of the Party is sponsored by Tile. The holidays are the most wonderful time of the year, but whether you're traveling or hosting, keeping track of what matters most to you this season can feel more hectic than merry. Stress less this holiday by stocking up on Life 360's Tile Trackers. Easily find your family's lost or stolen stuff. Just ring your tile when something goes missing or track down its location on the map. It's the first and only tracker with an SOS button. Just triple press the button in the center of the tile device to discreetly send an SOS alert to everyone in your Life 360 circle. That is awesome. One of my favorite features is, unlike competitors, Tile won't alert thieves to its presence via notifications. We have 2 college students, our daughters, and they each have a Tile. Because of this 3-push button that Tile offers, it's a must-have for college kids, in our opinion. Family-proof your family with Life 360's Tile Trackers. Visit Tile.com today and use code WIFE to get 15% off. That's Tile.com, code WIFE. So I think that goes both ways, right? Because I never dated anybody like you before. And I was talking actually to...
No one has.
No, well, I mean, your other girlfriends have.
But they dated me.
But exactly.
I am starting to realize, like, as I get, especially as I get older, just like what a fucking piece of work I really am on so many.
Well, how are you?
Levels.
Why are you? What's making you realize this now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you seeing yourself in other people in your life that it's making you reflect on who you are? I'm seeing. I don't know. I think I've had headbutts with people more often than not lately, where people just didn't get my personality, and I had to. Where in the past I would be like, I will get them to get me. Mm-hmm. I need them to like me. And now I'm just starting to go like, oh, I'm a lot. I think I am super frustrating. I think I'm exhausting to some people. I think the way I look at it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. A lot of people feel like, a lot of people. You do add a lot of work to my day.
Yeah.
That I really shouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
That is an accurate statement. And I don't mean it with malice. I mean it as a fact.
Yeah.
Like you leaving your backpack in the middle of our kitchen island, that will stay there until it rots.
No, until tomorrow when we leave.
Or until it rots, whichever comes first.
Or until I move it over to the bar.
Or you'll only move it over to the bar if I say, hey, can you move that? There's no like, oh, hold on. This is affecting, like other people live here also.
It's just me and you. What are we doing?
I know that, but my point is, I don't feel like my point was really heard when I said, because I do so much, when I do actually ask for something.
No, you're right. Yeah,
I would love to not get the, oh my God, are you serious? I mean, it's not what I had the day. That is not what my day was planned. Okay, fine. Okay, never mind. I just won't work out. I just won't take care of myself today and I'll do that. Okay, fine. What do you need? That happened with the suitcase the other day and it took you 15 fucking minutes. 15 minutes to take care of an open...
Are you guys enjoying this?
No,
are you guys enjoying this?
I'm sure they are. Because
are you listening to this going,
there's a Bert and LeeAnn in every single relationship.
I hope you're listening to this as a couple in the car and you're looking at each other. And I hope I don't know if you're the guy or the girl. If you're on my team, I'm assuming you're probably the guy. But you're probably going, yeah, I'm a snowflake. I'm my own unique thing.
But sometimes I would like to also be a snowflake.
Yeah, but you're more like a
Hey,
fucking
I would
avalanche.
like a 2080 snowflake. Right now it's 95.5. Can you give me 2080? That'd be awesome. Like that would make me so happy.
So let's get back to talking about empty nesting.
Okay, good.
So how has it been? How has it been for you? Have you enjoyed it?
I have. I've had a blast empty nesting. I have had a blast. I have had some moments of thinking like, I spent so much time on my own time, like on my own schedule. Not just because I had other people's schedules like George and Isla's schedules, but you're not here. Mm-hmm. So it has been an internal adjustment for me to not always get to just do what I want when I want it. Like when I'm ready to come to the office and you'll say, hey, come talk to me for a minute. And I don't get to leave for 45 minutes. I'm like, but that's where I want to be. So this is what I'm trying to say is I don't want to not be there with you for those 45 minutes. I actually do want that. Mm-hmm. But I'm used to that bulldog that is like, nope, I'm leaving at 10. I'm going to get to the office and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this shit done before anybody gets here. So that has to pause so that I can actually be where I want to be, which is with you, listening with you. Mm-hmm. So that balance of like not being frustrated because I'm so used to running my own schedule and understanding the benefit of having the partner that everybody wants. So that piece I've had to kind of like figure out internally. Yeah. And then sometimes I just am frustrated and sometimes I'm not. So that's probably been the biggest struggle, which is really not that big of a struggle.
I would argue, let's talk about, I want to talk about a couple more things in this. Mm-hmm. I don't have a timer on, so I don't know how long we've gone. You have a list of things you want to talk about?
Well, Stacey gave me some things. I thought this was pretty interesting. For empty nesting, there's 3 stages, right?
Oh, fuck.
Stage 1 is sadness, loss, loneliness.
This is like COVID, where you're like, I just have a headache. You're like, it's going to get worse.
Right? Wait to go to the bathroom. Stage 1, sadness, loss, loneliness.
Okay, I already went through that.
We did. Done. Stage 2, relief and a sense of freedom.
I feel freedom. We've gone to so many concerts. We've had such a cool fucking life. Like, without the girls, like we were doing such cool shit. Mm-hmm. Like, tonight we're going to Stabby's premiere, which I would never be able to do. I could never go to.
Right.
And by the way, also, I'm feeling a little sick, so part of me may not go. But that's also something I'm trying to come to terms with, is not letting people down. Mm-hmm. Like, I love Stabby and I want to support him.
Totally.
So I know for a fact if he showed up to something I was premiering, it would mean a lot to me. Like when I never forget the people that showed up to my premiere of my movie. I never forget who they were. Can I tell you what's so funny? I saw Reggie Watts the other night at that movie premiere. And I was like, he's such a great dude. He came to my premiere and we barely know each other. Yeah. But he showed up to support. And I thought so I want to go to Stabby's. When we had girls, we could never do that. It was like, no, we'd love to go. Yeah, we have softball. Yeah.
You got to pick somebody up at lacrosse. There's too much going on.
We get offers to go to Billy Joel the other night. And they're like, we have 2 extra tickets. And we're like, cool, let's go. We're going to the Eagles this weekend. We've been to see the Grateful Dead. We're doing, and by the way, we're bringing the girls to a lot of stuff. Like they would come with us. But for the most part, living here, we saw the Red Clay Strays, we saw Marcus King, we saw Goose, all these intimate, fun, wild Sturgill Simpson.
All since they've been gone.
Yeah.
They've been gone a month.
We've been seeing the coolest
We've been to the Sphere.
Artists.
We're going back to the Sphere.
We're going to fucking Nashville.
This is our 3rd time to Vegas since they left.
I mean, and by the way, this is the other part, and I want you to hear this. Is like, if you're in the thick of kids right now, and you're thinking, because I have to be fair, if you had said to me, the girls are going to leave and you and LeeAnn are going to have a lot of fun, I really would have been hesitant. I would have been like, hold on, hang on, like I'm going to do all this with LeeAnn, because I don't think I saw our relationship this way when the girls were home.
But this is how our relationship was before we had kids.
I know, but you get so into the thick of kids that I don't think you see. I think you're just staring down the barrel.
You're just looking down the barrel of just looking on the barrel years.
Of fucking. But no, but it's what's. I don't know the right way to say this, but like right now, I'm sure there's guys and women going like, I love my husband and I love my wife, and we're in it right now. We're in the car. We're driving to fucking softball practice. We're driving to baseball. We got soccer this weekend. We're on a road trip. We have a travel team that we know. You're so in the thick of it. And in a weird way, it's like, I get the very horrible analogy, but it's like being in war next to the guy. You don't realize the brotherhood you're forming until you guys both get out, and then you go and get beers and you're like, dude, we experienced some shit together.
Yeah, right.
And then you have this bond when your kids leave. You have this crazy fucking bond. And mine showed up, the very first time it showed up was when we were on Fully Loaded and we were in Daytona Beach. And I was out surfing. I'm a very selfish person. I'm going to try to be very honest. I'm a very selfish person. I really think about me, maybe. I said to someone, I think about me as much as humanitarians think about other people. Like, I think about me a lot. I just think about me, what's going to make me happy. Do I need a nap? I should get a coffee. Are we drinking tonight? Should I smoke weed? I need to go get I think about Bert Kreischer so much. I would love to think that other people would have the self-awareness to be like, that's pretty. We're all like that, Bert. But a lot of people were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck them in the mouth. Anyway, here's the thing. But
Inarguably, I think you think about yourself more than most people think about themselves.
Probably.
But other people do think about themselves as well.
Yeah,
But I definitely think about myself as well as other people.
And so...
but you do too. It just looks a lot different.
I think about it. Hang on. I want to say my statement.
Okay, sorry.
But we were in Daytona and I was out surfing and I had planned surfing for everyone on the tour, Kyle and Sam and
Kelsey and
Chad and Jay and Dan. I had planned surfing for us, mostly because I wanted to go surfing.
Mm-hmm.
I know how beautiful that water is. I know how beautiful Florida is. That beach is cool as fuck. Daytona Beach is just different than anywhere else. It's shallow for a long way out. It's just gorgeous. And the water cleans you, especially when you're hungover. And I got out there and I caught my first wave. And the second I did, I said, I'm done. I was like, that's a weird thing. I'm like, what do I mean I'm done? I said, I really want to watch LeeAnn surf.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, and that's so not me, is like, I mean, if we both get blood work, I probably never ask you about yours. I'll tell you about mine all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to watch LeeAnn surf. And then when we went to Hawaii and we went surfing again, I said, I really would, my joy is watching LeeAnn and the girls surf. And I think the coolest thing that's happened is like going to the Billy Joel the other night, is watching you have a good time. I've spent these times in the trenches with you. And now that we're out in civilian life, just me and you being regular people and not being two parents, we're just two people having a good time. It's fun watching you get loose and have fun. And, you got drunk at the Billy Joel concert and I had so much fun watching you talk shit. And it was like, and when we go to like the Red Clay Strays or I say it because concerts, but even when we just go out to dinner, we went to dinner at Whitney's house with all those people.
Mm-hmm.
To watch you talk to Eric Weinstein, it makes me giggle because you're my teammate. But you're my teammate that I went through some shit with. And I think that's the one thing that anyone that's married that's thinking right now, you're in the thick of it. You're going to travel ball this weekend. And you're like, so one day these kids will be gone and it'll just be me and her. I had panic about that thought.
Mm-hmm.
But then what you don't realize is once they're gone and it's you and her, there's a little bit of like, oh, what are we doing? But then you start going like, oh, we were in war together.
Right.
Like we had so many shared experiences. You have so many inside jokes. Mm. There's so many inside jokes that like, I mean, it's.
Well, I think what you're saying, which is really cool to think about if you're, as you said, in the thick of it with kids, is to start looking for the way to appreciate the shared experience, right? And that there's only one other person who shared the experience of raising your kids, right? It's the other parent or the other person you're married to. Now, if you're divorced and they're step parents, obviously that's a little bit different. But at the same time, to really look at your partner and in like the long game and not the short game. The short game is, that's exactly what I was describing about taking out the garbage. The short game is me getting mad at you for not taking out the garbage. The long game is I don't want to fight about it. It's not worth it. You've said something. This is a little off topic of empty nesters, but I was talking to Chris Cole last night in the kitchen. And I don't even know how we got on this subject. And I said, Bert does this really great thing. If we're in an argument or we're getting in like a heated argument and we take a moment, he'll think to himself, am I even going to remember what this is about in 2 years? And if the answer is no, then why are we really fighting about it? Like, well, let's just figure it out and not get so emotionally, invested in this moment. I think that's a good way of looking at parenting and longevity in your relationship is to say, are we going to remember this in 2 years? Well, yeah, if the answer is yes, like all these times we're going to fall ball or travel ball. When you and I went to see Georgia win CIF championship for softball, that's like a core memory. Mm-hmm. And knowing that you were at their practice while I was at home because you were never home or ever able to do it, that's actually kind of a core memory for me because I was so excited that you got to experience your kids in the way that I got the privilege to experience them all the time. Mm-hmm. But that shift in perspective as a partner, I think is part of what informs the empty nest time of your life. Because I don't know, maybe you didn't do this as much as I did. And I didn't do this all the time, but I remember having to adjust my thoughts in the moment. Like when you would come home on a Monday and say, let's go over to the hay slips and party. And my instinct is like, it's a school night. That's a no. But I'd have to adjust that and go, hold on. But this is a Saturday night for him. And he doesn't get to see his kids or his friends. Let's go. So we go to bed late one night. It's okay. I had to adjust myself for that kind of long-term relationship for you to have with our kids. And really, I guess I wasn't thinking about it this way, but it did adjust in some way our relationship with each other long-term. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I would also say, it's so funny as you were saying that, and I know I'm not good at listening. I'm good at hearing things and then thinking how that affects me and how I want to respond to it.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what listening is, but that's how I do it.
Okay.
I was like, to that couple right now, don't worry about like, this sounds horrible, but like, don't worry about trying to live your life. Like, let your life live. Like, be present with your kids and be there. That's where you are right now. Don't think, what about us? Me and her need to go out. That's awesome. That's awesome. If you can fit that in your schedule, great. We never could. We never had that luxury of like me and you need to. Sort of. That's
mostly true.
Sometimes you'd come with me on a Travel Channel thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd come with me on the road.
Yes.
But for the most part, work was number one.
But I think those times when I went with you by ourselves were really important.
They were really important, but
they were like once a year. Or not even.
I have a friend who, him and his wife make sure that they take care of each other. And I think that's noble. They leave their kids at home and they go out and do stuff. And I think that's noble. I think that's cool. I think maybe it's because they, maybe had kids a little later in life, but I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't break the bank trying to, because trust me when I say, I think it's cooler going like, so now we're entering this next phase of our lives, and this is what it looks like, is me and you are going to go out to Lake Mead and we're going to go wake surfing.
Right.
Or me and you are going to go, like, that's one of the things I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is like,
me too, actually.
I really want to talk about all the things I want to do with you. Like I said, it's crazy that I have this feeling like that I was like, yo, you've always wanted to go on safari.
Yeah.
And I was like, we should go on safari. We can plan it. Doesn't need to be next week. It doesn't need to be.
No.
It can be when it works in our schedule. But we could go on safari because we got nothing holding us back. And you've said you've always wanted to go to Paris. And I go, yo, we could. The other day we were talking on the couch, and I was like, and we're watching this great show, Slow Horses. It's all about London and pubs and London, they're drinking. Yeah. And I wasn't drinking at the time, but I was getting very romantic for London. And I wanted to go to like Ireland. I wanted to go to Scotland. I wanted to go to a small pub. And I said, yo, let's go to fucking London. Like, let's go to London. Like, you can,
Well, you don't even have to do that. I mean, I think the trap, this is what I think the trap is for empty nesters, is that they and this is me talking 1 month in. So what the fuck do I know? But as I project through problems, that's what my brain does. Where would the problems be with this? I think one of the problems with empty nesters is they don't make the effort to do something other than go home and sit on the couch.
Hold on, that just so we're clear, I don't want to make it sound like we're traveling the world.
No, we're going home and sitting on the couch.
What we do is we go home and sit on the couch.
But at the same time, you could just simply take a walk around your neighborhood. We did that the other day.
Dude, we did that the other night. So much fun. And it was so fucking cool. Like, that
cost no money.
We never have ever got home and said, let's put on some workout clothes and let's take like an hour walk.
And we did. Up
until sunset. We walked around. No booze, no cigar, no weed. Just took a fucking walk and talked, looked at houses.
That's something you can do until you're very old. It takes no money. Any person listening to this has the ability to do that, unless you're like living on a mountaintop and can't walk on a mountain or something. I don't know. But that's my point, is that when you're an empty nester, I think a problem would be not thinking outside the box, not getting outside of your routine where you had the same routine and your kids would come in and out of your house and you get really depressed. Well,
I was getting, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just,
that's all right.
That's my thing. I was getting, so the girls when they were little, and I've always had sleep anxiety. I think a lot of the reason I drank was, for the most part of my adult life, was because I was terrified to go to bed. Mm-hmm. It's so silly now. I go to bed all the time.
Well, both your kids have it. So
I go to bed all the time now sober. I never did it. I never did it. In my 20s, never.
I remember.
Fucking never. 30s, 40s, never. No, 40s I did. 40s is when I started doing it. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy that sleep anxiety would dictate how I behaved. Mm-hmm. I started getting going home anxiety because right when we left the girls at college, the idea of going home was really sad to me because there was no noise there. There was no nothing. And now I'm in this weird place when we go home, I get excited. I get excited to put on comfy clothes and sit on the couch or sit on the recliner. And I get excited about a show. Mm-hmm. And then we get really into a show. And then it's like, I get excited now to go home, which I didn't do before. But I think it was a lot of things. Like, it was also the freedom of like, I'm talking with this young man. He's going to call me today. Mm. He's going through a little bit of an issue, right now in life. And it's so easy when you're not going through it to tell him what to do. And it's so easy to almost find the joy in those tough times in your life because that's a growing period and that you're about to come out on the other side and kill it. You know that.
Yep. Is there anything more uncomfortable than when you get into bed with your partner and they put their freezing feet on you? Bombas says no, which is why they've made the coziest socks of the season. Bombas is the perfect holiday gift for your work bestie, cousin, or that super picky friend, because no one says no to the snug, delicious feeling of new socks. Don't be surprised if you end up keeping a few things for yourself, though, because Bombas uses the coziest fabrics, indulgent Sherpa, rich merino wools, premium long staple cotton. These socks are so cushy, they're like walking on pillows. And you can get that same softness all over with their underwear and t-shirts too. But my favorite thing Bombas makes is hands and feet down their slippers. They're designed with marshmallow-like memory foam and are all wrapped up in Sherpa. Bombas are my favorite socks. I will tell you why. I love the way they hug my arch. I don't know what it is about their particular socks, but I love how they hug my arch. I love Bombas. I work out in them almost every day. So, ready to feel good and do good? Head over to bombas.com/wife and use code WIFE for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/wife, code WIFE at checkout. This show is brought to you by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. The holiday season is just around the corner, and we're all looking for ways to spend and stress less. HelloFresh makes mealtime nearly hassle-free with delicious, home-delivered, chef-crafted recipes that come together quick and are less expensive than takeout. Whether you're craving hearty comfort food, trying to please picky eaters, or looking for a calorie-smart meal plan, HelloFresh has all those options and more available on a rotating menu of 50 recipes to choose from every week. Easily customizable recipes so each meal is just the way you like it. There are always options available to trade or upgrade proteins or swap out side dishes. I've been using HelloFresh for literally years, and the convenience of it is one of the main reasons I come back. All the recipes are delicious, but to just go to your fridge, open the door, have fresh ingredients and a recipe card that takes me about 20 minutes to make, is the best. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/freewife. Applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/freewife. America's #1 meal kit.
You're about to come out on the other side and kill it. You know that.
Yep.
And
but in the beginning, in your 20s, you don't know that.
You don't know it.
The only way you know that is to live that.
But you go through it a million times in life. And at 51.
At this age, you're like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
But at his age, he's a freshman in college. He doesn't know what this is.
No.
Brand new. It's a hard moment.
But what's cool, and the one thing I've always thought was cool, I still to this day think this is the coolest thing you can do. I was talking with P-Rod and Chris last night about it. It's the coolest thing is your routine doesn't have to be your routine. Do something wildly different. And like one of the first things I did one time when I was having this anxiety about coming home is I got home and I didn't go in the house. I went into the gym and I got on the treadmill. It was like 6 o'clock at night and I got on the treadmill and I just walked for 3 miles. And then I got off and then I saunaed and then I polar plunged and now it's dark out. And I came in the house and I broke up my schedule as opposed to going straight to the house, getting chili pistachios and fucking getting a liquid death and then sitting down and going, all right, it started. I did something different. That's the one thing I'd say is if you're dealing with something tough, just switch up your schedule.
That's right.
Just switch up. It's the easiest thing. It's my favorite thing in the world is like, go for a bike ride at like 10 o'clock at night. Go for a jog at, I look back at the first Sober October we did, or second one where we were like psychos. And one of my fondest memories, I've never felt happier, cooler, or more in touch with who I was as a dude, as a guy, was, we were doing who could burn the most calories in a day and in a month. And I remember one night at like 8 o'clock at night, I put on my running shoes and I went for a run. And I ran like 10 miles at night in our neighborhood. And I just was getting lost in our neighborhood and just running. And I just said, I'm looking at my watch and I was like, I'm going to run for an hour. And then I got done an hour and I was like, wow, if I go for another hour, I can almost get to probably 12. I remember thinking 12 miles was like, but I only got to like 10. But I remember coming home that night. It was like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30. I probably ran for a little longer if it was 10 miles. I'm just knowing my times. And I got done and I took a shower and I felt fucking wildly great. And I was like, God damn it, I'm alive. I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
When you dumped me a long time ago and you broke my heart and I won you back.
Yes.
I remember one time going and getting coffee at like 8 o'clock at night and going to Barnes and Noble at night. And I remember that. And those are, I call them the salad days. I say that because it's a time in your life when you're starting over and you're getting a brand new meal of life.
Fresh and crispy.
And the first thing they give you is your salad. And
it's the beginning of the meal.
I love that phrase, but I love switching it up. And it's one of the cool things about what we've done, with the girls leaving is switching it up. Now, pivot to one of the things I've been saying out loud and I'd love to do more of is you're someone who for the past 20 years lived for 2 other people.
3.
You existed for
3.
3, okay? 3 other people.
Yes, 3.
That entire time.
Why did you not like that I said 3? You're pretty self-sufficient.
I existed for 3 other people.
Of course, you weren't talking about you. You were talking about me.
I know. You got to hear everything. I hear everything in the lens of me.
You said you existed for 2 other people, and I said 3. As if that was something.
Okay.
I existed for you too.
Yes.
Do you remember how many nights I was on the phone with you about Travel Channel and being afraid that you're going to ride the roller coaster the next day and hours and hours and hours ruminating about it? I was there for 3 people.
My point is, that day we went surfing in Daytona. I realized I've gotten to do some of the coolest stuff in the world. I've done wildly some of the coolest stuff that you could ever imagine. I did stuff that if I said it to you right now, you'd go, "That's a thing." I skied behind a horse. I got roped into a horse's saddle, and then the horse ran at a full sprint. And I skied behind him. It's a name for it. They do it in Utah. And I did that. That was fun as shit. We did slalom courses, riding behind horses. Fucking awesome. It's so fucking fun. I went hella skiing in Switzerland. Austin Keene, the wakeboarder, was like, "Have you ever swam with sharks?" And I was like, I've swam with sharks. I swam with great white sharks out of the cage. I've swam with great white sharks 4 times. I've swam with sharks maybe 10 times. My daughters have swam with sharks 3 times. Like I've done some of the coolest stuff, and I derive more joy out of watching people experience it. When we took everyone to, was it Talladega? the Brickyard, the Speedway, me, Gillis, Big J, Mark Norman, for Fully Loaded, and I got to, and they took me on the track, and I've been in NASCAR, I've been in pace cars, I've been in NASCARs, I've been in Top Thrill Dragsters, I've been in mudders, I've been in blowers, I've been in every fucking race car you could ever fucking imagine. But I knew how cool it was. I made them wake up Shane and wake up Big J, because for me, the joy was doing it. It's fun to do it, but my more joy was seeing someone who had never experienced something like that do it. I wish I'd had that energy on Travel Channel. That would have made me a better host. Seriously. But that's when I realized we're going through this empty nest thing. I want to fill up your bucket list. Like, I want to fill up what would make me happiest. Isn't, and by the way, it isn't getting you out of your comfort zone and getting you to skydive like that. That's not it.
You won't be able to get me out of my comfort zone like that.
No, but it's like, but getting you subtly out of your comfort zone. Like when we went wake surfing, like we did it. You'll see it. There's an episode I think is coming out with Ari, and then you'll see my episode is out. Austin Keene, one of the world's best skimboarders, a sponsored wake surfer. By Mastercraft, I think. He took us to Lake Mead and did it, and I did it, and we got the stuff I need. But my whole time I was out there, I was like, "Get LeeAnn up here," because it's more fun for me to watch you enjoy stuff. So I thought that is how I want to spend this next year, is doing stuff for you. So you get to experience it. Like, and there's stuff I'd love to do that maybe you're not interested in. And there's stuff that maybe you're not interested that you should try. Like I would what? Really, spearfishing. I want you to go spearfishing just off Coast Catalina.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's such an interesting, I want to, but I also go with Tom and Sandy, go with Chris and Whitney, go with Andrew and his wife, you could do it with couples or that seems fun to me. I really want to do, in Solvang or in Northern California, take road bikes and go from vineyard to vineyard. I thought that would be cool.
That's very cool.
Fun things that are really kind of bucket list activities. So that when someday someone goes, what's the wildest trip you've ever done? You don't have an answer. Like, that's the coolest thing you can do in life. The coolest thing in the world is to not talk. And I don't have that ability. I don't. But I do when people ask me about travel. I don't talk because I've done too much stuff. So I don't bring up a lot of the stuff I've done traveling because, quite honestly, I don't know where to compartmentalize it. And that is the biggest gift you can give someone, is like, because if you ask my dad, what's the greatest vacation you've ever had? He's only got a few. He's only got a few. And he'll tell you the few, and he'll tell you the few over and over again. When you talk to Ari about traveling, he wants to know where you're talking about because he's traveled so many. That's the gift you can give someone, is like, travel so much that you forget that you've traveled everywhere. If you can forget that you've traveled someone. So that's what I want to do with you this next year while we're not on the road. And then when we go on the road, we were going to do it. We were supposed to do a European tour. I know I've mentioned it, but it's now being shelved to do other projects. But like when I do a European tour, I want to just take you with you and then really slow roll ourselves and have a great time and show you all of Europe and do the wild, crazy things. Go to Interlaken in Switzerland, do that. Like that rope swing in Interlaken is the craziest, fucking coolest thing I've ever done. And is to this day, it's like, I've never felt that free fall ever again. It's such a, and by the way, maybe just go and have a glass of wine at the little chalet there and watch people do it. You don't need to do it. You know what I mean? Let Pete do it if he wants to do it.
Pete's coming with us on our empty nest road?
No, because we're going to be on tour.
Me, you, and Peter?
No, because we're on tour. That.
On tour.
Yeah, but like.
It's like, so now we've traded 2 daughters for a son?
So here's what I want to hear in the comments. What are things you would love to see LeeAnn experience in life?
Oh, Lord.
What are bucket list adventures you've done that are achievable? You don't need to do wild, crazy. I don't need you to joust. But what in the U.S. in particular? Because I feel like we're going to Europe, but that's not going to be for a year and a half. And we're going to be in the U.S. What in the U.S. is like a wild, like even if as small as it's like,
see it or do it.
Go out to the Corona Arch and see the arches. They're fucking beautiful.
So I've done a little bit in the U.S., but really not that much. I mean, I've been to the Grand Canyon, obviously. And I've been to, anytime we go when we're on Fully Loaded, I just see the arena. So I've been to Memphis, but only to the arena. And, I've been to places like that, but only to the arenas.
Yeah.
So
I want you to.
I've been to Miami, but only to get on the ship to go on the Fully Loaded cruise. I've never spent time in Miami.
Things I've done, I'll say some crazy fun things to do in the U.S. Dune buggies in Pismo Beach.
Amazing. I would totally do that.
So crazy fun. ATVs in northern Michigan. I think it's northern Michigan. It's where they have these huge sand dunes that go down. I mean, the sand dunes are so big that, dude, you know what we did? We went snowboarding in sand dunes in California. They have white sands in California, and you walk up the top and you snowboard all the way down in the desert. I mean, I'd love to go to Joshua Tree with you. I'd love to do a lot of cool things that I've done on Travel Channel. Because I had a team finding stuff for us to do. I would love to do, me and Bobby Kelly hiked down to people are never going to believe this. Bobby Kelly wasn't always, he was a very athletic dude. We hiked down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and back up again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Me, Bobby Kelly, Matt Frost, and Vincent Nastri. Being Bobby Kelly. And Bobby Kelly.
That's before I knew you.
We got up to the top, and I've never had 6 Coors Lights faster in my life. It was a great fucking workout. It was so wild. Cool.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. Like, we camped on the rim on the what is it, the north rim of the Grand Canyon on an RV on Native American territory.
Wow.
It was so beautiful. I mean, I've seen so many crazy things. You got to go to Alaska. You need to go to Alaska, and you've got to experience not just Alaska, but off the grid Alaska, where bald eagles are so commonplace. They're like fruit stands in LA. I mean, fucking Alaska is just otherworldly. It really is. I want you to go to New Zealand. I think New Zealand's probably one of the fucking wildest places in the world, especially when you go to the South Island. Like, that's just, Australia is awesome.
Well, I've been to Australia.
By the way, I'm going back to Australia. I fucking love Australia.
Yeah, it's great.
But you think even Australians would say Tasmania and New Zealand are a little different than Australia.
Well, I would imagine they'd have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like the same. Honestly, New Zealand doesn't seem like the same world as Australia.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the cool things, the one gift we can have is that I really want to watch you enjoy things. And I think that's a cool way to live these next 10 years is like, go out and do shit. And I want people's suggestions. So put in the comments of something you did that was so crazy. Dude, I'll tell you right now, going to a lake up in Wisconsin or in Minnesota during the summer, it's so fucking cool. The ground feels like carpet. It's so soft. Everything about the ground is like mushy, and the fucking food just there's so many cool things in this country to do.
There are. Yeah. I want to go fly fishing. I used to trout fish in the Chattahoochee River a long time, like 1977. And I liked standing in a river and fishing for trout, but I've never been fly fishing.
Snake River.
I've never done fly fishing.
Yeah, we did that in Snake River. We went and caught sturgeon in Snake River too. Snake River, that's where.
Yeah, I know where Snake River is.
Sturgeons are like 6 feet long. They're huge.
Wow.
Yeah. Idaho is absolutely gorgeous. One of the coolest things I ever did. Took snowmobiles up to 7,000 feet in Idaho and stayed in a yurt for a weekend.
I floated a river in Idaho.
You did? But I did too.
With you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm Fully Loaded. That was really fun.
Idaho's fucking gorgeous.
It was beautiful. Yeah, but I only
gorgeous.
saw that river because it was by the venue, right?
Yeah, that's right. We actually floated
to the venue. We did. We got up and went in the venue. That was really cool. It was very fun.
What's some things that you'd like to do that you've never done?
I've always wanted to hike like down into the Grand Canyon. I've seen the Grand Canyon from the top. I've always wanted to see it from the bottom because I would imagine it's just like insane. It's got to blow your mind.
Oh, I'll tell you what's really crazy. We took a helicopter down to the base of the Grand Canyon.
What?
And flew a helicopter and then a river raft at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
I would river raft in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I've never been on any kind of whitewater river thing. I would love to do something like that. Not one that's super crazy, but one that's like enjoyable, just enough rapid to be enjoyable, but not, you're going to break your neck.
Yeah.
Dangerous. I don't know. There's a lot of the middle of the country I haven't been to or seen. You know how you don't know what you don't know? I'm good at saying I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what there is to do in a lot of the country to even answer that question. I already answered it. I'd love to go fly fishing. Part of me would like to take an extended RV trip, like a road trip where you go from place to place. One thing, this is super nerdy, but I've always wanted to see a lot of the national parks because I think they're national parks for a reason. Like the first time I saw Yosemite, I just started crying. It's one of the most overwhelming things I've ever seen. The first time I saw the Grand Canyon, I started crying.
I would like to see
I've never been to Yellowstone.
I'd like to see Old Faithful.
I've never been to Yellowstone. I've never been to Glacier National Park. I've never been to I'd love to just take like a national park tour. I know some people, there's like a national park road trip itinerary I saw posted somewhere where you just get an RV and you go from national park to national park over 10 days or something like that. I think that would be really fun.
Well, we have a tour bus.
I know. Well, yeah, we do.
What do you mean? Yeah. We're not buying an RV.
I didn't ask to buy one.
I got an RV on steroids. Have you been to all the states?
No. Definitely have not.
What states haven't you been to that you'd like to go to?
I've never been to Wyoming.
Oh.
I've never been to North or South Dakota.
Wyoming's crazy. You know what's insane about Wyoming? What can you get me the population of Wyoming is the same as like a small city in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we were just in Wyoming. I've been to Yellowstone is in Wyoming.
581,000.
581,000.
Wow.
I was there with Catherine Blanford. 581,000 people in Wyoming.
I've been to Montana. Crazy. I would go back to Montana in a heartbeat. It was so beautiful. But see, I've been to Idaho, but it was for Fully Loaded. So I didn't see much.
Well, for the record, that's a lot of, I've been to every state in the U.S.
I bet you have.
But a lot of it's for tour. You know, Montana's pretty fucking crazy. You've been to Montana.
I loved Montana. Sandy and I took our girls to Montana. Everybody thought we were a gay couple with our 4 kids. It was really fun, though. We had a great time. We rode ATVs but we didn't go fly fishing. That was one of the things that the girls were, well, I don't think Sandy's girls were interested in fly fishing. So I don't know. Again, I don't know what I've been to like North Carolina and South Carolina, but just South Carolina only in the venue. I had never been to Tennessee until like a year ago. We just didn't travel much when I was a kid. I didn't really travel a whole lot. When I moved to New York City, I traveled a little bit there, and that I had a friend there who took me to New Hampshire one day. So we like stopped in Connecticut and Rhode Island and on the way up there and messed around up there. That was really pretty. But I go anywhere. I think I was much more adventurous before we had kids. And I think my experience, or what I thought my experience for having kids should be, was a lot safer than what I was before I had kids. You know, like jumping off the rock at Catalina. Once I had kids, I was like, oh, I will not be doing that. There's some sense that something happens with your mom where you're like, I can't actually die.
Did you just manifest my mom calling me?
No.
What did you just say? Oh, hang on. Speaking of 2 empty nesters, where are you guys?
Oh, hey, I thought that was a recording.
No.
We're on a ship in Boston.
Okay. Ooh la
How
la.
Hold on.
Okay. So the guy comes in, our private butler, who doesn't really speak English, comes in. We're in the penthouse. Beautiful, really, really, really beautiful boat. Beautiful accommodations. He's giving us a rundown. Now, Dad is 2 Manhattans and a glass of wine in. And Caleb says to him, and at 5 o'clock, we have tea time. And Dad jumps up and goes, there's golf on this ship? I said, no, Dad, tea time. That's what I said. There's golf on this ship. This is amazing. I said, no, tea, like sipping tea. Now, meanwhile, Caleb's looking at us like we're 2 idiots. I have to pantomime sipping tea, and he can't even hear anyway. So this is how it's going so far. And now he's having an espresso martini, so we're having a ball.
Oh, nice.
Have you left the port yet?
Everybody.
He's talking to everybody?
Have you left the port yet?
Have you guys left the port yet?
Nope. Not yet.
We're drunk as shit.
We're
We're
drunk.
not out of the port yet. What? And I'm the sober one. This is an amazing trip.
Oh, I'm on my fourth drink.
He's on his fourth drink. I'm on my first.
Well, keep sending us pictures throughout the thing. We want to see everything.
Okay. I'll start
Okay.
taking pictures. Now, here's that. Here's that.
All right.
It's a gorgeous boat.
Is it really?
It drinks like $12 a pop, or for $39 you can drink all you want.
That's fucking awesome. Well, send pictures, okay?
Sure. How you doing? How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. LeeAnn and I are doing a
espresso.
Go ahead.
Who's Ann?
No, LeeAnn.
Did he leave his teeth out or something?
Okay.
Yeah, what are you doing?
We're doing a podcast about being empty nesters.
Why?
Because it's what's happening in our life right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on my fourth drink. We've only been here an hour.
So your empty nesting's going really well.
You love cruising?
Yeah, I love it.
But you haven't started cruising yet. You haven't even left the port.
Yeah, we don't cruise for several more hours.
You guys will be asleep by the time the boat leaves the port.
Oh, I can kid I'm going to take a nap real soon.
They could just go leave it at the
Find
dock.
something to eat.
Oh, I bet the food's fucking phenomenal.
I'll tell you in about 3 hours. We have reservations for 7:30.
Holy shit.
Well, we have a butler and we can eat in our room, so maybe I'll just order something.
Nice. Well, take some pictures of the boat and send it to the Isla Hates Eggs.
I will.
Who do you want to send it to?
Isla hates. Never mind.
To Isla eight eggs?
Don't worry. I know who we're sending it.
Okay, it's great talking to you.
It's great talking to you. I love you guys. Have fun.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you in
Love
2 weeks. Bye.
That's our future, baby. That's our future.
I can't believe they enjoy each other's company.
They do. You know,
I know.
what? I think the pandemic did them a world of good.
You think?
Not that they didn't enjoy each other, but for whatever reason, having to be together all the time, they came out of the pandemic like getting a kick out of each other in a different way. I don't think anything was wrong,
Yeah.
but it enhanced their relationship somehow. It was really cool.
I'm happy that they're doing that.
Me
We're
too.
gonna call in a couple hours and find out how my mom's doing.
I know. I hope to God she doesn't get sick. I have never been on the Mississippi River. I'd love to be on the Mississippi somewhere.
I wonder if I have. I have to have.
I'm sure you have. You have been on one of those gambling boats on the Mississippi?
Oh, I've been on the Mississippi.
Yeah, that's what I figured. The only thing I've done in Mississippi is gone to Fully Loaded. I've never been to Biloxi or anything like that.
Biloxi's fucking amazing.
I've never been to Biloxi.
I'll tell you. Can I tell you one of my favorite places in the world is? Is Pigeon Forge adjacent? I could sincerely take a vacation to like Branson and have a great time, or go to like.
Why? What's in Branson?
It's like Pigeon Forge.
I've never been to Pigeon Forge. I don't know what that means.
You've never been to Pigeon Forge?
Never
Not
been to
only
Pigeon
have I
Forge.
been to Pigeon Forge,
I know you met Dolly Parton there.
I've been to Pigeon Forge probably, and I'm no joke, probably 8 times. The most recent time I was in Pigeon Forge, we got an Airbnb in Pigeon Forge, and we stayed there because we were on the road and we needed a place to stay for, 4 days, and we stayed in Pigeon Forge, and we had a fucking blast. Hiking, the restaurants are like achievable, meaning like you can find higher end restaurants, but for the most part, you can just have a great meal anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
and you're not going to break the bank. And the Titanic Museum, pretty fucking amazing. Like,
Is it Pigeon Forge?
they have a Titanic Museum. They've got every kind of museum you'd ever. It really is a tourist destination in that, like, they've got probably a wax museum. I mean, all the things in Pigeon Forge are really crazy. And then, they've got go-kart racing. They've got go-karts that go fast as shit. There's a lot of like thrill rides in Pigeon Forge, but Dollywood is, and you're talking to a man who is an expert. I put my 10,000 hours into theme parks. Dollywood and Busch Gardens, Virginia are 2 of the most beautiful theme parks in the world that you should go to. Even if you're not going to ride a ride, just go, enjoy the topography. The food is different than other theme parks. It's very authentic and indigenous to like the culture there. I really love Dollywood.
I would love to go to Dollywood.
I'd go to
You know,
Dollywood.
I love roller coasters.
I'm not going to go on any roller
Unlike
coasters.
you, I love roller
I
coasters.
fucking hate them.
I love them.
The ones we went on when we were with Big J, and him and Dan were like two goddamn fucking children going on every goddamn. I want to do them all. Front of the line. Bert, we got fast pass. And I was like, I hurt my back. I hurt my neck. I was like fucking out of it.
Yeah, I love roller coasters. I think they're really fun. But yeah, so I don't know. I think we should make a list. We should take suggestions, like you said, from comments, and then make a plan and go.
I love it.
I would love it too. In the meantime, I still want to go to the movies.
Film it.
What's that? What?
Maybe we film it. That's me. I'm turning everything into content.
Maybe we film it.
Yeah, maybe we film it. Maybe we put it up online. Maybe we put it on YouTube. One event. Every just 5 minutes of an event of you doing something fun.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Or we just do it. We're going to Vegas this weekend. Is there anything you'd want to do in Vegas while we're in Vegas? Vegas is kind of the wildest place.
Besides see the Eagles?
We're going to see the Eagles, but we get in Friday night. We have all of Saturday to ourselves.
I don't know. I don't know what there is to do in Vegas besides.
Oh my God.
Well, we went to the adult superstore.
That was a fun thing. We should probably go back there.
I don't know. We definitely don't need to film it again.
No, we definitely
That was an
don't
HR violation for Stacey.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to look in Vegas. I'm going to look see if there's something fun in Vegas.
Okay. I mean, we did wake surfing in Vegas. That was pretty
fucking awesome.
amazing. So I don't know how you top that. I'm not jumping off the stratosphere.
Don't. By the way, I have to tell you, just going to the top of the stratosphere is pretty fucking amazing.
I would go to the top.
I go to the top of the stratosphere. It's fun. I'd have a drink up there. It's really cool. It's really like as silly. I will say this: the four thrill rides they have at the top of the stratosphere, as intense as anywhere in the world.
I rode the ride where you look like you're falling off.
That fucking is terrifying.
That's pretty scary. I rode that a long time ago.
I rode the ride where it spreads out and you're facing down and they're spinning you in circles over the fucking strip.
No,
and then the power tower they have there where they shoot you up, you're already 1,100 feet in the sky. And then they put you on the top you're seeing planes approach as you're on that ride.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you this, when we were in Vegas for Skank Fest, I had never been to downtown Vegas, like the old part of Vegas. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing to me about traveling is that I am not precious. I'm not fussy. I'm not fancy.
Yeah.
I'm cool with going to like gritty downtown Vegas and hanging out there as much as I am going to the Strip. So when we think about the things that we might want to do in the U.S.,
all right.
Like there's a train you can take in Arizona to the Grand Canyon. I was like, that would be cool to just, because it's like an authentic train ride, like the trains like people would ride in like Western days, right? Not that I'm a huge Western fan, but I think that would be cool. Like if you're going to the Grand Canyon anyway, why not just take that train and add that to your trip and kind of maximize
I wouldn't mind taking a beautiful train ride across country.
I wouldn't mind taking. I just saw this train ride where they take it in the Pacific Northwest. I don't remember from where to where, but it's double-decker train, and the top deck is all glass. And then the sleeping accommodation was really cool. I just saw it on Instagram. And I was like, that would be fun to do for a weekend.
I'd do it.
You know, you don't have to do anything for any big, long amount of time if you don't want to.
All right, I'm Googling.
I'd love to go to the Alamo. I've never been to the Alamo. And everybody's like, the Alamo is nothing to see.
I'd go to the Alamo.
You walk up and go, there's the Alamo. But at least I would have seen the Alamo. It's a part of our
San
history.
Antonio's absolutely.
Never been to San Antonio.
Obviously, if you've never been to the Alamo, that's where the Alamo is.
Well, there's more in San Antonio than just the Alamo.
They have a great hat store.
I've never been to San Antonio.
There's right around the corner from the Alamo. They've got the San Antonio Riverwalk, which is, I think, I'll say this, excessively romantic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful date. Take someone down on the Riverwalk. The food in San Antonio is fucking wild. I gotta tell you what town I think is cool as fucking shit, and everyone in Texas is gonna shit on me right now. El Paso.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love El Paso.
they probably have good salsa there.
I love the food. El Paso is less Texas and more Mexico, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it is. I think El Paso is fucking badass.
That's cool.
I think Texas is fucking cool as shit. Texas literally is like Australia. It's so. Dallas is so different than El Paso. That's so different than Austin. It is like Adelaide. Texas is pretty fucking cool. We should really spend some time in Texas.
So maybe we should take a tour bus your tour bus to Texas and just do a major city tour in Texas on the tour bus.
We'll be doing when next time I'm on tour. We'll do that and we'll space it out. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe we do different size venues so that you spend 2 nights in Dallas and 2 nights in Houston and 2 nights in Austin and 2 nights instead of going and doing the big.
I've been
venue.
to those 3 cities. I've been to Dallas, Houston.
Have you been to Galveston?
No.
Fucking amazing. Yeah, you have.
I have?
You had to have.
Oh, I did. Yes, I have been to Galveston. Yes. But I've never been to El Paso or San Antonio.
You know what's so funny is when we dropped off the girls, when we dropped off Georgia, Isla found a picture of me crying and posted it on my Instagram when I dropped off Georgia. So to tit for tat, when I dropped off Isla, I took a picture of myself crying and I posted it on Instagram. What's interesting is how many people got upset by that photo. Mm-hmm. I didn't post it. I absolutely didn't post it as
look at me.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I posted it as look at me. That's what everything's on. Look at me. But like, I posted it for all my friends who are my age, who are dropping their kids off, who are going through the same thing. You know, it's like we watch Mel Robbins talk about dropping her son off at the same time.
Yeah,
that's a weird sense of community. It upset a lot of like mostly single men. You know, that were like I lost like 4,000 followers.
Right.
And it's probably my most unfollowed post I've ever had. And I'm actually kind of cool with it. Where I go, okay, then if you're not here for that, then I don't know what you're here for. And I'm cool with that. But like, dude, I posted this because more people reached out to me than, I mean, I heard Big J was making fun of this, some guy that was talking shit about me. And he was like, I don't know, whatever. And Big J was telling me about it. And I was like, I never got any of that pushback, but I also don't read comments. So I don't read it. Like but all I got was people hitting me up, telling me that's how I felt. But you know what's so crazy? In that moment, I kind of overwhelmed how you felt dropping off the girls.
That's a new thing. You overwhelming my moment. That's brand new.
Well, I wanted to ask how you felt dropping off the girls.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I either am really healthy or I overcope. Does that make sense? So I was really happy when I dropped both our girls off. I didn't feel loss as much as I felt a shift. Mm-hmm. So like, it's like shifting from elementary school to middle school, right? You don't lose your kid, but the relationship shifts. And then middle school to high school, it happens again. So I felt like it was just another shift. So I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if I just overcope, if I've been thinking about it and processing it ahead of time so that when the moment happened, the moment to me is supposed to be for the girl. This is a big monumental moment in our kids' lives. So somehow I made it in my brain less about me and more about a celebration of them stepping into that point. That was my perspective. As the whole thing was like a celebration of a transition for them, a positive transition.
That's cool.
So I didn't really have a lot of loss or sadness in the moment, right? For Georgia, I didn't really have that loss, like deep feeling loss until we got close to Mother's Day, right? I was cool. I was super happy for her. She wasn't really calling home much. She wasn't answering texts. And I was like, not my favorite, but I kind of get it until we started approaching Mother's Day. And then I was like, hold on. She's the reason I am a mother. And now I'm not going to have her. So first Mother's Day, that one really, really got me upset. I started getting upset in April after she'd left in September. So I was all that time I was okay. And then April, I started going like, hold on here. And then obviously you surprised me, brought her home. I was really emotional. And I felt like I got it all out in that moment for Mother's Day. And then I kind of been okay. And then when Isla left, I thought, well, this is the last one. This one's going to be a real loss. And I didn't feel that way either. I felt very excited for her. I felt like we'd found the right place for her. She had struggled so much with high school that I was nervous to see how she was going to transition to this new place. Just the logistics of it, like getting herself up and out of bed on time and making sure she turns in her assignments and that kind of adulting piece. But I still haven't really, I don't feel that super huge loss yet. Not yet. I think it's coming, but I haven't felt it yet. I felt like when I figured out about 2 weeks in that she'd really hit her stride at school, I felt a great sense of relief and joy. And I was really proud of her because I feel like she hit the ground running. She's at the right place. She's made great friends. She's keeping up with her classes. We're a pass-fail family. She's passing all her classes. And I'm relieved. I did walk in her room once since she's been gone and had shed a couple tears where I missed her. You know, we spent a lot of time together and no time together, a little bit of both. She would always, like 1 or 2 nights a week, make sure she like watched TV with me. And the rest of the time I'd never see her or hear from her the last year she was here. So I don't think it's hit me yet for Isla. I don't know if I'm just delayed. I'm so often other focused. Or I'm not self-focused. I'm focused on other people. So I was focusing on her process. And much like our wedding, when the church doors open and I saw you sobbing at the end of the aisle, somebody had to get from A to B, right? I am just a pragmatic person. And I just showed up, said my vows, and we went through our wedding and you cried the whole wedding. I feel like that's kind of how all these transitional moments have happened with the two of us. When something happens, I become very pragmatic because you're really emotional. Mm-hmm. Now, if your emotional piece was removed, I don't know that I would be that any more emotional than I already am.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel bad saying that. I feel guilty sometimes that I'm not a wreck, that is some measure of how little I care for my kids, but it's not accurate. I'm so happy that we have done exactly what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to raise a child to become an adult and to want them to walk into that next phase mm-hmm. and to be their biggest cheerleader when they walk into that next phase. So I just don't know. I haven't taken it personally that way. Not that you've taken it personally, that they've left me. That's not what I mean. But you are just a more emotional person than I am, mm-hmm. period. At the end of the day, you're just far more emotional than I am. So I did get really emotional with Georgia by April. So I'm wondering if by April, I'll start really feeling that.
But wait, I want to ask you about, I want to know how you received wake surfing. Because I took Ari 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. He's like, we need to do more stuff like this.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I will tell you exactly everything about wake surfing. Wake surfing, surfing and wake surfing. Here's where I get emotional. Not about my kids. Water is part of who I am. I just grew up in the water. I grew up in the water constantly. And so there's no opportunity in our regular life to be in the water like that. Like, obviously I could drive to the beach and surf, but what I learned when I was learning to surf in Hawaii is that surfing here is drastically different than the surfing we were doing in Daytona Beach or Hawaii, mm-hmm. and that it's actually way harder. So I tried surfing here and was so defeated that I was like, fuck it. And the water here is so incredibly cold. But being on a lake behind a boat is like spiritual to me. Mm-hmm. It's because that's all I did. From 6 years old until I left Georgia, I spent every weekend behind a boat. And so I loved it. I was so happy that I got up as quickly as I did. Austin is an incredible teacher. Obviously, when you have a really good teacher, it's really easy to learn. Mm-hmm. But the older you get, the harder it is to learn anything. And I was really impressed that I was able to learn. I felt like the last time I went, I finally had figured it out. So I'd gotten up and fallen a few times, but the last time I got my foot placement right and I understood my balance. And I felt like if we had a whole day there, I would have just fucking been killing it for someone who had never done it before their first day. I loved it. And I would love to do more stuff like that. 100% love to do more. I mean, even when I tried to learn how to snowboard, I think inarguably I approached it with a can do. I want to do this. Let's do this. I'm going to get this. But man, after falling for 2 days straight on my tailbone and 6 weeks afterwards, like having a sore tailbone, I don't know that I need to snowboard to have a good time. I am cool snow skiing because I'm good at that. And to me, it's a good time. So, I'm open to learn and try. I think snowboarding is a great example of me maybe not needing to do that again, but I definitely gave it my all to try and figure that out. So anyway, I loved it. I loved Austin, his whole crew, his wife, everybody was so nice. And I was really proud of myself. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. So Ari had a good time?
Oh, Ari had a fucking blast. He had a blast, and he was, I mean, when there's a video of it. I'm not going to post it, but the very, very last run I took, I'd gotten a little better at it, and by the time I wiped out, Ari just instinctually just jumped off the boat, just swam over to me, gave me a hug or high-fived or whatever, and he was like, "Today was fucking awesome."
That's great.
Yeah, and then
so there's 3 stages, right?
What's the third stage?
Let me remind. The first one is sadness, loss, loneliness. The second one is relief and a sense of freedom. And the third one, it says you hit your stride.
Oh, okay, we're there.
So I think we're a little bit in stage 2, but we're on our way to stage 3. Yeah. Right? We're about to hit our stride.
We're hitting our stride, and I hope you're hit your stride. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you don't have to be in a relationship to love it. You can just listen and be like, that's cool that they're in that thing. But if you're in a relationship, I think this is super applicable to like where you're going, what you've been through, where you could be going. It's just,
think outside the box. I wanted to say this. Change never has to be big. Change can be very subtle. It can be the walk around the block. It can be the, hey, let's go to the movies. The other night I said to you, let's just go see a damn movie. That's cost like $20 total, $25 total for us to go to the movies. It's not that big of a financial commitment, and it gets you out of the house and doing something together. It's not, if you apply yourself, you can find things to do at a low cost that are meaningful.
Go to fucking Rite Aid at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, we do that. We go to Rite Aid at 11 and walk the aisle. We go to Target and walk the aisles. What else do we do? What else do we do in our empty nester?
I don't know. I'm about to fall asleep.
Oh, well, love you too, babe.
No, I'm about to fall asleep.
Thank you for the chat. This is a good chat.
I think I'm getting sick, so I'm trying to.
You sound a little sick, you do.
I feel sick.
Oh, good thing
I shouldn't have worked out
made
today.
out earlier today. That sounds awesome. Great.
I think it's COVID.
What?
Yeah.
Did you give me COVID today?
I think so. I should have worn a condom.
Love you.
I love you too.